I don't refer to anything that's going on with me as belonging to me. So this whole thing about my behaviours, our behaviours, is all a personalisation that actually in the real world doesn't actually exist. It's a construct, it's something that we make up. And then ego tells us that it's something that's important and something we have to continue doing because that's what makes sense. And I'm happy to talk about that more if you guys want me to. When we personalize behaviors and we say, this is good for me, this is bad for me, this is whatever, if you're doing it from a space of the intellect, of ego, it will always appear right for you to do that. So, for example, I told you the other day there that I kind of get caught up and I was really tired and I was eating more food than I would normally eat and I wasn't choosing wisely the food that I was eating. And there was a moment of consciousness in that it was okay to do that day, but this isn't something I want to continue doing. In my previous days, I wouldn't have seen that. I wouldn't have seen that behavior of overeating was something that I shouldn't be doing. It was just something I did. That was me. That's who Jackie is. She emotionally eats when she gets tired or upset by people. That is just the way it goes. But with this newer awareness of I'm tired and I'm not in a good state of being, therefore there is something happening with me and I'm waking up to it. It's okay for that to happen right now, but it's not something I want to continue with. And there's a distinction for me, and that distinction is if I'm doing something that is not nurturing for me, that is not healthy for me, that is not good for me, then I know for a fact that that is not wisdom. It can't be wisdom. Therefore, I don't feel that when I'm guided to do things, if it doesn't feel loving and it doesn't feel kind, then I'm not going to do it. So the overeating felt kind and it felt that's what I was meant to do. And that was a way for me to slow down, to get a bit more bandwidth. That was okay. And it was okay for one day. But ego kicked in the next day and told me I was to do that again. And I knew that I wasn't, because if I keep doing what I've always done, I'm going to get what I've always got. And I don't want to put weight back on. I don't want to eat the way that I used to eat. I don't want to feel the way that I used to feel. Therefore, that just did not make sense for me to continue doing that. So if you have pain or you're in discomfort and you are guided to take some kind of medication and that helps you, great. Check in with your state of being. Are you in fear or are you more relaxed? Have you had enough sleep? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Same thing with Tanya. If Tanya hasn't slept well, then she's not going to be in a good state of mind to be able to see what she's doing. That doesn't mean you should do it anyway, because you're always being given this opportunity to wake up. Always, always, always. And there is a gentleness in that. It's not harsh to say to yourself, oh, I always do this and it feels like crap. If it feels like crap, it feels like crap. Accept that. It feels like crap. And remember, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So it's not about fighting it. It's about understanding it. It's about seeing through it. Seeing the behavior is part of a thought process. Part of a thought process depending on where your state of mind is in the moment. Like I said, it doesn't make it right. It might make it okay for now. But if that behavior is harming you or harming others around you, then it's time to wake up. It's time to see something different. And to do that from a space of love, not from a space of judgment. Some people need to get to a space where they've had enough. Enough's enough before they're able to see what's going on. Some people can wake up in the middle of it and see it. I was grateful the other day that I woke up in the middle of it and saw it. Some people just need to be at their wit's end and say to themselves, I just don't want this anymore. I don't want to live my life like this anymore. And within that, insight comes. Insight comes when you wake up in the middle of it. Insight comes if you're fed up with it. Insight can also come if you're judging yourself in the middle of it too, because it's a different feeling. It's not a kind feeling. It's not a loving feeling. We can tell ourselves all sorts of stories about whether something's right, whether something's wrong, whether something feels good, whether something doesn't feel good. The space I look to is the space where there's no words and there's no judgment. A space of essence, a space of flow, a space of love. So I would just sort of say to you all, that's the space to look in while you're being more gentle on yourself about what's actually going on. Because as Helen said, the more that you try not to do something, the more it actually becomes front focus of your mind. So feeling indifferent about it, feeling like you don't care about what's been said to you, because remember, all thoughts are not facts, they're just information. Information that's passing through that you really don't need to do anything with.